Hey guys, Mike here. So we got another big week setting up as we had another nice rally on Friday. As you saw, can't believe we bounced back. But of course, as we talked about the charts, I'm being sarcastic because yes, the bounce made total sense. We're going to look at the chart and see where we can go from here, which is key. Also some data that came in on Friday, which of course affected our friend, the 10-year yield, which affects other assets as well. So we're going to get into those. And a couple stocks to watch because some are setting up for some very explosive moves. That will depend on earnings for some of these, of course, but we'll really look at the indexes and take a bigger, wider view of what we can expect here. But when you look at the 10-year yield here, guys, you can see here we are almost doing this breakout right here. It's getting the breakout. And what happened was, as I put in the Discord, it was going down. You go, okay, cool, we're going to break down. And then the manufacturing prices came in. Unemployment came in as the same as you can see. And so, of course, what happened to the 10-year yield? End up spiking, as you can see right here. And so if it breaks above right here, then that's your next level to look at. If this continues to drive higher, around 4.46 right there will be the next level to look at. As far as it hitting that, again, this could, I mean, we can get some data to push it back down, but right now it's kind of screaming inflationary pressures are upon us, I guess you could say. But as you can see, what does it affect? It affects IWMs. IWM was raging until all of a sudden the 10-year took a U-turn right there. And again, IWM was up nicely, but it would have been up way nicer because as soon as the 10-year started to move higher, it dropped like about 0.5% immediately. And then you even look at crypto. Not the 10-year really is going to affect crypto, but you can see how it reacts to it, right? So as the 10-year turns, Bitcoin rolls back over, trying to bounce. Again, we're here on the weekends, so we'll see what's going to happen. A lot of people predicting an explosive move out with Bitcoin. If that happens, you know, again, we've seen crazy things, right? We see the dollar, the 10-year, the market going up. So you can absolutely see it, and we'll see if the correlation between crypto and IWM breaks or they start moving up together and say, hey, what the heck, we'll move up with the 10-year, right? I mean, we've seen crazier things at this point in time. When you look at the indexes here, SPY, of course, stayed in the weekly expected move. We'll get rid of that. Didn't quite touch the 50. Doesn't have to touch the 50 if that's the case. Could still come down and watch it, so I'll watch that as well. When you come over here, though, you know, what you're looking for coming into next week and the week after that is just looking at what's going on with structure, right? We're sitting here dipping back down. So now we have a lower low on here, right? Going to come back up, probably have another lower high. And so if that is the case, that will be the fourth lower high. And so this thing needs to start getting above around 575 is going to be key right there to hold that and sustain it, all right, and start putting in on these shorter term time frames, the hourlies and stuff, higher lows and higher highs, right? That's what needs to happen. Right now we're just back down in this area right here. See another V-shaped recovery as bears still can't continue to do this push down right here. But again, on non-farm payroll days and on these Fridays, this is, I think, I'm going to have to do some research. I swear you see this every single time where this happens. They sell us down the day before and then explosive move on the day after that. But the truth is, it's this trend line right here, right? This is where we keep getting rejected. Until you get above this trend line, like I showed you on PayPal, keep this in place. That will be resistance. Between like 579, 581 is what you're looking at because that will be resistance. Again, we got this gap right here, big gap to fill as well. And so until those break above, again, this is guilty, kind of, you know, you say a downtrend, but into a bearish market right there, short term at least. And you can see with the 5-day and this 21 EMA right here, when you see them cross, usually not a good thing. Doesn't mean it has to be anything bad, but that's what you're looking at. You need to get above the 5-day moving average. You need to get above that 21 as well. And so that's another thing we're going to be looking at in the short term to see if we can get back above that. Still guilty until proven otherwise right here. The major earnings are over with. So we're going to see how the Mag 7 recovers and continues to move. Like Amazon had a great day, which we'll get into. Apple, not so much. Look at the Qs right here. You know, we talked about this fair value gap, how it reacts. Of course, it came up and ended up hitting not only the golden pocket on the move, but obviously sitting in a major fair value gap. So immediately moved back down intraday, but then dip buyers started coming back in, right? And so these shaded areas are going to move them out. Those are going to be support resistance. We can stay above that right there around 488, and then right up here between 493, 495 or somewhere in there with that trend line will be resistance. Okay, so it needs to get above that area right there, as you can see. If we can't hold right where we're at right now, we start to drop 476, 477. is an area of support. Okay, so you need to be looking for that to hold as well. That actually put us below the 50 moving average, which is not a good thing for the Qs. Something else to watch on this one, of course, is it's below the 5-day moving average, which turned over, got rejected the 21 moving average right there, as you can see. And so, just looking at this right here, it hadn't crossed, right? Unlike the S&P or the SPY right there. And so, going to IWM, you're looking at, obviously, it held the weekly expected move, just like the Qs, just like the SPY. Shocker there. We'll put the new one in when I get back from the mountains. And yes, I'm going to be in the mountains for a little while. So don't freak out if you don't see any videos on Monday or Tuesday. Now, this right here came up, mitigated this daily fair value gap we talked about to the T, sold back down. Again, 220 is resistance along with this trend line right here until proven otherwise. So it needs to get above and close above that level right there. Moving averages aren't a problem for this one, unlike the other ones. It bounced off as 50. So again, it is above the 50 on this one. The 100 and 200 are nowhere in the same ballpark. But we need to get back above this trend line, back above 220, start putting in some higher highs, higher lows. We'll mark out 217.43 to the downside if that breaks. Obviously, you're going to open yourself up around 214.50. Okay, we can get above 220, above that trend line. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and say 224 is going to be your level that it will be targeting, which will also almost intersect with the ascending trend line. Now, Amazon, huge day right here on earnings, 200, man. I swear, if Jeff Bezos told the guys, if he's selling again, because remember, he sold more stock than I've seen a CEO selling a long time at 200. He just kept offloading hundreds of millions, I think it was billions of dollars actually. And I swear if he's doing it again, I'm going to find him on his yacht. I say this jokingly and throw him off of it. But if you want to see the levels, if it does break 200, now you're looking at 207, 217, and that leads to around 222. And so that will be the level to look for if he can get through there. We won't know if he's selling a bunch again or not, right? I think he's buying some sports franchise or something. But, we'll see. Now, SMCI continues to drop. The reason why that's a big deal is because it's been weighing on NVIDIA. And people wonder, why is this weighing on NVIDIA? You can see NVIDIA's been down with it. Had a nice little bounce on Friday, just like everything else, nice relief bounce. And it's because SMCI is NVIDIA's third largest customer. Also, SMCI's biggest client is NVIDIA, and his second biggest client is an entity that is backed by NVIDIA. So a lot of entanglements going on there. And so the fourth or fifth, whenever they're holding their press conference, is going to be huge. And so when your third and largest customer is in trouble, then that kind of weighs on you. But that trend line is the key, right? If the trend line holds right here, then it's fine. You might have just got a bounce yesterday, and that was the bounce, and this thing continues to go. Because remember, they don't report earnings like the rest of these guys for another 2.5 weeks. And so this thing ain't even came into a discount yet for people to start buying, really, if you're going to buy. And so if that trend line breaks, obviously you can see it's going to be 135, and then you go down to 130. It's going to be support levels on NVIDIA. Now, HIMS obviously got struck by Eli Lilly here, but this one's trying to come back up. You see those two trend lines intersecting? That is resistance right there. It came down, did what though? Filled a gap. Again, this is a high flyer. It moves quickly, right? Down 21% in 2 days. All right, it moves up pretty fast too. So, it's all about those weight loss drugs and everything else that they do. But you got this gap fill, you got the bounce. And the reason why, again, it's not anything to do with HIMS per se. If you come over and look right here, you can see it has to do with Eli Lilly, right? They got crushed on earnings because, they're facing a lot of pressure, right? And so competition's fierce for these weight loss drugs and stuff. And of course, it ended up getting smacked down about $100 a share as soon as it reported. But what have you seen, right? They've ended up, dropping 126 a share. They've bought it back up over the last couple of days right here, as you can see. So up about $50 a share. And when you look at HIMS, what you're looking at here is $18.64 for support right there. If it can break back above, looking at $24, $24.12 actually to be exact, is the move to move up from this one. Now, looking at Chinese stocks, watch these because they're all setting up in this same formation. It's not quite a bull flag, but it looks like it. They're all setting down around the 0.618 golden pocket fib right there, some of them at 0.79. And so, China loves to come out on the weekends and start putting news out about stimulus and things of that nature. So far, it really hadn't faded because they said we might do it, we might not. But if they come out and actually put it in cement, Again, all these are setting up in the same pattern right here. So just watch and see if you get an explosive move coming next week. JD's held up more than any of the rest of them. It's actually not in the discount range. It hadn't even hit the 0.5 fib yet, which is kind of surprising, right? But a lot of these like BABA, Baidu, PDD actually have. So watch that. Another one for earnings. It doesn't report this week. It'll report the week after. But this is another one to me that's setting up like a bull flag, and it's just sitting there. And this one moves fast. This is Upstart, okay? So if it breaks above this, 57 is going to be your target. I definitely see you could get more downside until earnings. It's filling this gap on Friday. You still got this daily fair value it could come down into. But if earnings comes out anywhere decent, this thing will absolutely explode. Obviously, if earnings do not, because you know FinTech's been on fire with SoFi and PayPal and stuff, then 32 is going to be your next target. I'll just move this up. That will be where you would probably see support at, or need to see support in this one. Now, when it comes to earnings, obviously we have a boatload of more earnings coming out, the smaller companies especially. When you look here, the popular one, you got Palantir, got Cleveland Cliffs, Hims and Hers reports on Monday. So we'll see if it gets the Eli Lilly treatment or not. Win, which is the gambling. Then you come over here to Tuesday. There's Super Micro, so that's going to be a big one. Devon Energy's probably been on fire, I'm sure. Coupang's another one that's been moving pretty well. Wednesday, Celsius, of course, that company continues to struggle. You're looking at CVS Health, which has just been, that's a mess. Toyota, kind of a popular name because of where it's at right now, and it's getting a pop lately. Then, of course, ARM's going to be a big one. Qualcomm, Elf, Clover. I think we have, is that Mercado Libre down there? Yep. Thursday, Vistra Energy, Moderna. Look for Datadog, cybersecurity right there. Halliburton's going to be the oil. Cameco is going to be another one. Hershey's, let's see, we're still buying chocolate. What the heck? DraftKings is going to be an after hours, along with Square, as you like to call it, Block. And then Rivian, Unity, Trade Desk, Affirm, Fortinet, Pinterest, and Airbnb. Oh boy, can't wait to hear from Airbnb. And then Friday, you're looking at Canopy Growth right there. And maybe even Sony. Pay attention to Sony while I'm thinking about it. Now, a lot of data coming out. Obviously, we turn back clocks on Sunday, which sucks. It'll be dark when I get home now. Factory orders on Monday, so nothing major. Tuesday, you're going to say ISM services, PMI. You got your presidential election going on, so that's going to be fun. I know I've been trying to early vote. Man, the lines are just a mile long. 10-year bond auction. Everybody's watching what? The 10-year yield, right? Wednesday, final services PMI, crude oil inventories. 30-year bond auctions haven't been a problem, but we'll check it out. Thursday, unemployment claims. And then, of course, on Thursday, the big stuff, right? You got the FOMC meeting. Will they cut rates? Will they not cut rates? The market is pricing in a rate cut. And then Friday, consumer sentiment. And so nothing big on Friday. And so hopefully that sets up the week again. I'll be in the mountains. I'll probably, for the members, put out the morning news brief and stuff like that. But I don't know if I'm doing any videos or not. And so please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Hopefully I'll be back by Wednesday, maybe even Tuesday, depending on when we get back. Think about signing up for the membership, less than McDonald's combo. That's everything you get with it. And I'll see you guys later.